Now to new polling, which shows Joe Biden and President Trump are in a competitive race across 3 Sunbelt states Trump won in 2016. According to the latest CBS News YouGov Battleground State polls, Biden has a 6-point advantage over President Trump in Florida, 48-42. Both Biden and Trump are tied at 46% respectively in Arizona. And Trump leads Biden by 1 point in Texas, 46%-45%. Meanwhile, another poll out of Texas has Biden up 5 points. According to the latest Dallas Morning News University of Texas at Tyler poll, Biden sits at 46%, up 3 points, since both candidates were tied in April at 43%, respectively. Trump has 41% of support. That's down 2 points. With polling like that, the New York Times reports that some Democrats believe there is a very real possibility that Joe Biden could win in historically Republican states like Georgia and Texas. They also argue that the upcoming election can install a new group of Democratic lawmakers that can help redraw legislative maps following this year's census. Biden's campaign is currently more set on targeting traditional battleground states. As of now, he has television ads in only 6 states, all of which Trump won in 2016. Those would be Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Arizona, North Carolina, and Florida. Public and private polling also shows that the president is trailing in swing states, Michigan and Wisconsin, and running neck and neck with the former vice president in conservative states like Kansas and Montana. Joining us now, Matt Barreto. He's co-founder of Latino Decisions, the leading national polling and research firm among Latino Americans. And Matt, your firm is out with new numbers that has Biden leading President Trump by double digits among Latino voters across 6 key battleground states. We've got the latest Voter Participation Center Voto Latino Decisions poll. Biden sitting at 60% of support among Latino voters, 35 points ahead of Trump, who has 25%. The former vice president leads Trump by 50 points in North Carolina, 40 points in Nevada, 38 points in Texas, 26 points in Florida, 30 points in Pennsylvania, and 27 points in Arizona. Also, 57% view Biden as favorable compared to 32% who said the same about Trump. Matt Barreto, what is going on and what do we know about how these polls play out actually at the voting booth?
Well, thank you, Mika. Good morning. I think you're right that the Latino vote is really driving these leads in some of these battleground states that we're seeing for Biden. The polling that we found was that Latinos are very angry at the Trump administration right now, and they're giving serious consideration to Vice President Biden. That's making states like Arizona, Texas, Florida really, really competitive for the vice president right now. You're also seeing that with large Latino populations, as you saw in these numbers, in places like North Carolina and Pennsylvania. So it's not just the traditional southwestern states like Texas, but that Latino vote is really growing and getting so large in places like Pennsylvania and North Carolina that those need to be on the map as states where the Latino vote might be able to shift and influence the presidential outcome this year. As you mentioned, many of these are states that Trump won in 2016. They're not even just impossibly competitive. As you noted, Biden is leading a lot of these states. Now, we need to see if that vote will materialize on Election Day. But right now, the public opinion is such that Trump is faring very poorly, especially with the Latino vote in these key battlegrounds.
Jonathan Lemire, you can take it to Matt. I'm just wondering what you're thinking of some of the reporting we're seeing out there of the Biden campaign really focusing in on hitting some red states hard.
No question. And the Biden campaign is certainly taking some pressure from other Democrats about trying to expand the map, to try to really rout the president this November, to try to defeat not just Donald Trump, but Trumpism. That's the signal they're trying to send. Win back both the House and the Senate, really try to move on from this moment. But I think, as always, Democrats do need to be careful of overconfidence. Let's remember, of course, in the final weeks of the 2016 campaign, Hillary Clinton was having events and sending surrogates to places like Arizona, which back then was less of a battleground. She never set foot in Wisconsin, at least so far. The Biden camp seems more focused on just getting to that number 270, the magic number for electoral votes needed, of course, to win. But this will be a dilemma they face in the months ahead if the polling continues to look this good. Matt, my question for you is, we've seen the president in recent days. He's sending a lot of messages out there. He's returning to immigration. I was with him a few weeks ago when he went back to the border wall and touted that as a campaign promise. He's sort of sending mixed signals about DACA, about whether he wants to relitigate that. He gave an interview while in Florida on Friday suggesting there might even be a path to citizenship, which the White House kind of quickly walked back, and a lot of Republicans sort of grew up angry that he even mentioned. What do you make of this right now? Is the administration attempting to make some sort of inroads with Latinos? The messaging is certainly confusing. Do you think there's any chance it can be effective? Is there some sort of narrow path he could create here to try to win some of those votes?
Well, I don't think it's really that confusing. I think it's been pretty consistently anti-immigrant, really, since he descended down that escalator in Trump Tower and called Mexicans rapists. I mean, he's been pretty on point in attacking immigrants and blaming immigrants. The entire DACA mess with the Dreamers that we're in right now was self-inflicted wound by Jeff Sessions and the president when they rescinded the program. And I think, as you noted, he says one thing one day, like, let's try and make a deal, but then he doesn't come to the table to negotiate. So far, the messaging we have seen has really been characterized as anti-immigrant, as anti-Latino, not leaning in and trying to understand our community. And so that's what I think many Latino voters are going to be looking at. What has he already done? What has he already said about our community? And any promises he makes, I think, are not being taken very seriously right now. His messaging continues to be very harsh and unwelcoming when he's talking about the border wall or undocumented immigrants. And Latino voters are paying attention. And I think that's going to really hurt him in these battleground states that you mentioned.
Co-founder of Latino Decisions, Matt Barreto, thank you so much. And
thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.